Tonight on Ctv3 News, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of drugs confiscated by Orange Walk police go up in flames. Dr. Osmond Martinez sworn in as the new Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Trade. And end child marriage in Belize, how do you feel about it? The consultation process takes place in Orange Walk. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, August 13th, 2024.
This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't left this plan. I can't left this plan.
My name is Stacey Badillo. This is my sister Gina Badillo, and we've been owners of this business for the past 19 years. It is called Purple Passion Studio and Spa, and we're located in Kikaker, Belize. I've been part of the credit union for 12 years, and Gina
for 19 years.
Professionally, it's allowed us for our business to grow, and our careers has grown as well.
We have had great customer service at Credit Union.
They're exceptional.
Yes.
For this small island, it's very important, but for our small business, it's even more important. It has changed our lives, the lives of our children, of our families.
I highly recommend St. Francis Credit Union to my children, to my family, to my clients, to everyone that is around me, that it's always the number one.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. Today, the Orange Walk Police Formation conducted a major drug destruction, the first to happen in the district in close to 5 years. This morning's operation saw hundreds of pounds of marijuana as well as cocaine and crack cocaine going up in smoke at a local lumberyard here in Orange Walk. Today's destruction operation, according to newly installed Northern Regional Commander Senior Superintendent Christopher Noble, is part of the ongoing efforts to revitalize crime-fighting efforts in Northern Belize.
What we're doing is drug destruction, that is found properties, concluded cases. We know that for a number of years, Orange Walk hadn't seen one. We've been working at it for a while now, and we've been successful in getting it sorted. What you can see is we had the presence of our Chief Magistrate, which we are very grateful for, and our local magistrate, the forensics analyst, and a local JP. so as to show we're with clean hands to the people. So this is not an open operation, but it's an operation where we need to show where we are being open with what we're doing, because in other areas when you keep an amount of drugs, and it tends to have issues down the road. So it's an exercise that we started today here in Orange Walk. We should do Corozal in short order, and we'll do our best to make it an annual event.
Morning's operation saw a joint collaboration between the Orange Walk Police, the Prosecution Branch, and the Orange Walk Magistrates Court, and the drugs destroyed included evidence presented in court for which the cases have concluded, as well as drugs classified as found property from as far back as 2019.
What would be cannabis, crack, cocaine, hashish, which would be the resin, and some tablets. So there's a variety of things that we've met with persons that are illegal, that are being destroyed today.
What does this speak to in terms of the work, done in Orange Walk throughout the years in terms of, operations to get drugs off the street?
Well, it does say that in the past, there has been an effort to do that, because this has been taken off the street. It's in our custody, and it has sat in our custody where whether it was found or a matter that is now concluded before the court. So the revenue has gone to the government, and the persons have been convicted for it in some cases, no?
Total drugs destroyed today included 109,958 grams of marijuana, 157 grams of crack cocaine, as well as 226 grams of cocaine and a small assortment of drug pipes and drug paraphernalia.
I can't quantify in dollars, but it would be a significant haul should you have it in one place. Luckily, we don't exercise the same. So for the people that use, we don't have it, we won't have it, and for the people that sell, they don't have it.
And in terms of the amount of drugs, are you able to say?
I believe we're upwards of 150 kilos of cannabis, and upwards of around 15 kilos of cocaine is basic, and other paraphernalia, and like I said, tablets and other issues that we've gotten off the street that are illegal drugs.
A similar operation is expected in the Corozal district in the coming days. Last night, news of a road traffic accident was reported on social media. The incident reportedly occurred in San Narciso, Corozal. It was reported as a hit and run, and the victim was identified as Nelson Claros, a resident of San Narciso, who, according to the Post, was on his bicycle when an unknown vehicle hit him from behind, causing him to fall to the pavement. But we understand that there was no such accident. Our sources tell us that a couple and their child were at the San Narciso bus stop last night when Nelson Claros began harassing the father of the child. After a while, Claros reportedly threatened to hurt the child. This is when things went sour and a fight ensued between Claros and her child's father. Claros was injured and left on the ground. This happened around 7:15 p.m. last night, and it was not until about an hour later that Claros was taken to the Corozal Community Hospital for medical treatment. The degree of his injuries is unknown at this time. Our sources tell us that Claros does not reside at the village but would occasionally visit and commit the same act of harassing residents. There is no word whether a police report has been made or if any arrest has been made. A man from the Toledo district has been charged with rape. Reports reaching our news desk is that on Saturday, August 10th, around 7:40 p.m., police responded to a report made by a 28-year-old woman in Toledo. She told police that a male person whom she knew had sexual intercourse with her against her will. The woman was examined by a medical doctor who confirmed the sexual assault. This zoomed in on Josue Padilla, who was on Monday arrested. The 22-year-old resident of Toledo was taken by police and charged with rape. Today, Honorable Dr. Osmond Martinez, the elected representative of the Toledo East constituency, was sworn in as the new Minister of State for Foreign Trade in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade before Her Excellency Dame Froila Zalam, Governor General of Belize. Honorable Martinez was joined at his swearing-in ceremony by Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño and ministerial colleagues from the government who welcomed him as the new Minister of State. After having taken the oath, Martinez spoke to reporters about his new capacity as Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, that is.
Why is it that you came here as opposed to waiting for the next meeting?
Well, I think that's a question that you will need to ask the PM, but one of the things is that the next sitting of the House will be in September, and time is clicking. We need to get done and to get things done, you know, and the only thing that we know what to do is to work hard, and so we need to get on the ground and work. We continue to diversify, to continue to have the discussions of regional integration, for example, with Mexico and Central America in terms of trade and commerce. And so there is a lot that needs to be done. But for me, at this present moment, it's too early to give the details, because I will need to sit, or I will be having a meeting with Minister Francis Fonseca, and then based on he will be able to brief me or to let me know what would be the next steps and the vision that we should follow, and to brief me of where the Ministry of Trade is at the present moment.
Honorable Martinez now joins the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Honorable Francis Fonseca. He told us how he plans to serve the people and government of Belize by working hand in hand with those of the ministry.
We continue to diversify, to continue to have the discussions of regional integration, for example, with Mexico and Central America in terms of trade and commerce. And so there is a lot that needs to be done. But for me, at this present moment, it's too early to give the details, because I will need to sit, or I will be having a meeting with Minister Francis Fonseca, and then based on he will be able to brief me or to let me know what would be the next steps and the vision that we should follow, and to brief me of where the Ministry of Trade is at the present moment. Remember that once we are elected, we serve at the pleasure of the Prime Minister, and he is the one who will decide where each individual is more fit to serve. And in this case, he believed that I am more fit to serve in the Ministry of Foreign Trade, then I will do it. But based on your question, I think that the Ministry of Foreign Trade and the Ministry of Finance, they complement one another, and the Ministry of Economic Development. It requires a lot of, when you look at economic development, it's not only about grants, you know, that is one of the things that we champion, but it's also about planning, it's about coordination, it's about dictating the pace of economic growth and development. It's about data analysis. In this case, no, we will be doing, maybe it's executing now what we were doing at all the planning and coordination that was being done at the Ministry of Economic Development. Now at the Ministry of Foreign Trade, we will be able to implement it, because there is a trade deficit, for example, that needs to be, a gap that needs to be closed. There is more opportunities in terms of negotiating with our countries. There is also the investments in terms of getting the Pacific Corridor and the Atlantic Corridor connected through Belize. Also all these connections in terms of using Belize, or geographically, you know, Belize is well positioned to become a good trading partner for the southern part of Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean.
Coming up next, end the child marriage in Belize, a call to action. I am a child, not a bride. We'll tell you what the campaign is all about. Stay tuned.
Estimados cañeros y cañeras, por este medio el SCPC informa que todo reporte de caña para la siguiente zafra 2024-2025 se estará recibiendo a partir del 6 al 13 de agosto del 2024. Para hacer su reporte de caña, visita las oficinas del SICB en las siguientes fechas por asociación. Northern, martes 6 de agosto. Corozal Producers, miércoles 7 de agosto. Progressive, jueves 8 de agosto. BSCF Corozal, viernes 9 de agosto. BSCF Orange Walk, lunes y martes 12 y 13 de agosto. También se va a necesitar proporcionar los siguientes datos: nombre completo del productor, código de BSI, asociación, sucursal, área de la parcela, clase de cultivo y cualquier otra información relevante. Asimismo, queremos recordar que las aplicaciones para transferencias de producción y membresía es del 1 al 31 de agosto 2024. Trate de hacer todo lo posible de visitar las oficinas del SICB lo antes para hacer sus transacciones. Nota: para transferencias de membresía, las asociaciones necesitarán entregar copia de los documentos relevantes y debe ser acorde a lo que estipula el bylaw de la asociación. La fecha límite para aplicar para transfers es el 31 de agosto 2024. Atentamente, el Sugarcane Production Committee.
Win big with Centaur. As a valued customer, we're showing our appreciation for your continued loyalty with an incredible promotion. Update your account and receive one ticket to win $1,000 cash towards your child's education expenses. Get an extra ticket for every month you pay in advance. One lucky winner for each of our 3 branches will receive $1,000 cash. Drawing date September 6 on the Despierta Belize morning show. Don't miss this opportunity to secure your child's education. Update your account now. Start earning those entry tickets and win big with Centaur.
The Public Utilities Commission continues to drive changes for Belize's utility and ICT sectors by creating new regulations and updating existing laws and rules to elevate the legal framework for water, telecommunication, and electricity. Overall, our work at PUC allows for better protection of consumers and the environment, a comprehensive integration of renewable energy sources into the national power grid, assures businesses continuity of utilities, promote competition and investments, and enhances national development in Belize. PUC, transforming the utility and ICT sectors by modernizing the regulatory framework.
The Special Envoy for the Development of Families and Children, along with partner stakeholders, including the National Commission for Families and Children, NCFC, and Women's Commission, are currently engaged in a nationwide consultation campaign which seeks to increase the age of marital eligibility from 16 years to 18. Today, the key stakeholders of the campaign gathered here in Orange Walk Town to hear from our locals about their views on the proposed changes to the legislation that permits children to marry and the importance of acting on the matter. The campaign is being carried out under the theme End Child Marriage in Belize, a call to action. I am a child, not a bride. The ongoing campaign, according to Special Envoy, Her Excellency Rosana Briceño, was born from a call to action from participants of the National Children's Parliament last year.
It actually came up from the young people. This came up from when they were having a mock parliament, and the young people chose that topic. We didn't give it to them. They didn't have to choose it from a list of topics. They chose this. And then after that mock parliament session, they brought all the research, they brought all the information that they had gathered. They stood up in the House to defend their positions. And this position was actually taken and supported by both sides, both sides of the House. So to me, that's a historic bipartisan agreement, you know, when you look at it. But really seriously, the serious aspect of this is that they're saying to us now, as the advocates, the leaders in our communities, we want this to change. We are not ready. We don't understand the legal binding or the contract that a marriage is. So they're asking for consultation. So what we have done today is we've brought different parts of the community, a cross section of people from our community that include medical officers, religious people, educators, people from the town council, business people, even our special education officers that deal with children with special needs that are one of the most vulnerable populations too, and more specifically the children. They're here to give their opinions, to give suggestions, to voice their concerns about how this impacts their lives and how it will impact their life later in life.
While the topic of early marriage is not one which many of us are aware of, statistics show that cases of early unions of marriage are more likely to happen in rural areas. In fact, the Orange Walk district accounts for the third highest of such cases in the country, a fact which the special envoy says we must rectify.
Many of us think, oh, these things happen in rural areas, village life. But you know what? Surprisingly, it's happening more in towns and our cities. And what's incredible, and it shocks us that it's happening to communities that, like in our mestizo community, in down south, it's happening in the Garifuna community. Why? We're asking ourselves why these things are happening in certain, and why it's higher in some areas. I know the north is I think the third highest. So it does hit home. It hits home because we are parents, we have children, and when I look at a child that's 14 or 15, that in my mind that child is not ready for marriage. Worse to have a child, and most of the time that is what takes them into marriage. An unexpected pregnancy, an unwanted pregnancy, and most of the time they're for older men. I don't have another word to say but for predators, because most of these men groom these young ladies. They pretend to take care of them. And I mean, there's so many stories that we're hearing going on today of what happens and what leads to this. But I think key is education. We need to educate our community. We need to educate our young people, and especially the boys. We're not discounting the boys at all.
Rooted in gender inequality, child marriage disproportionately affects girls who are often valued less than boys, says the director of the Women's Commission, Thea Garcia Ramirez.
When you look at the figures, especially because there are more girls than boys in early unions, then obviously it's not boys and girls of the same age being married. So it is then very apparent that it is older men that are having relationship with girls that are not even legally able to consent to a relationship, much less a sexual relationship. And this is a huge problem in our communities across the country, but more so in urban communities. It's not only in rural settings and in villages. It is also very prevalent in our towns, in our cities. It is a huge problem. It affects boys and girls, but more so girls. you have less opportunity for study, you have less opportunity for making and earning a living, you have more children, you repeat the cycle of poverty, and these are things that are very concerning. We are working towards 2030 and being able to achieve the different developmental goals, and we're not going to do that unless we take serious action now to try and stop early child unions and early child marriages, because simply, it infringes upon the human rights of these children.
If we are to be successful in ending child marriage in our country, Special Envoy Her Excellency Rosanna Briceño says we must stand together to ensure that every child in Belize has the opportunity to grow up free from the risks of early marriage, pursue their education, and reach their full potential.
Parents play a big role in the lives of their children. Whether positive or negatively, parents are always at the forefront. Parents are role models many times, whether it's good or bad. Parents are the first person, the first people that that are involved in their child's lives. It also depends too on the level of education that parents have, because sometimes parents we say, oh, they don't know better, or this is what they're used to, or generational, norms, and this is what trickles down to them. But the age that we're in, it's changing. Our young people are, like Ms. Thea rightly said in her opening remarks, the blindfolds are coming off. Our young people are getting more educated. They're in a digital world now. Everything is on a click, it's there. Information is there. So now it's up to our parents to be able to catch up with some of their children, and not only that, but become aware that it's more expensive now. The cycle of poverty is ongoing, and why do we want our children to go through the bad parts of life when they can be better, when it can be better with some education, with some sensitization and support? And this is what we're discussing today. What can Belize do to assist parents? What can Belize do to provide more incentives for our young people to stay in school, to get an education?
Lastly, a similar consultation session is expected in the Corozal district in the coming days. The CARICOM Development Fund today signed a master guarantee agreement with the Belize Bank during a special ceremony. Through the agreement, the bank will now be able to offer funding for renewable energy projects in Belize through its credit risk abatement facility. Its ultimate goal is to offer financing for renewable energy and energy efficiency investments for a greener Belize. CARICOM's Development Fund Chief Executive Officer Rodinald Sommer today spoke with the media about the initiative.
Belize has been a beneficiary of CDF support from inception. We were established in 2008, and we finalized our first country program, and that was with Belize in 2010. So it's a wider program that covers a number of sectors. In this instance, we are dealing with sustainable energy sector, but we have done a lot of development work with Belize in agriculture and in SMEs. Credit risk abatement facility operates is that it tries to address a problem with SMEs that are trying to invest in renewable energy and energy efficiency to improve the performance of their business as well as to reduce their carbon footprint. And the crux of that is to make affordable financing available to them for investment. So for us to do that, we have to get the banks onboarded to the framework. So, and we do that through signing an agreement with them. So we signed a master guarantee agreement with Belize Bank this morning that allows Belize Bank now to offer financing support to SMEs interested in sustainable energy projects. And that support it comes from their own resources, through their concessional loans, through their loan portfolio, but we are supporting it with a partial credit risk guarantee that gives them the comfort that in the unlikely event that the project is unsuccessful, that the loans can be repaid up to 80% of the value of the loan. So that's one type of support. But we don't expect them, if everything goes well, to draw on the guarantee, because we are also assisting the companies to ensure that their projects are bankable. So we provide them with technical assistance through energy audits and preparation of proposals that they can submit to the banks that demonstrate the viability of the projects and give the banks the confidence in providing the financing to them. So we operate at both sides of the market. The demand for financing that comes from the companies and the supply of financing that comes from the banks. But for the system to work, the banks need to be onboarded so that any SME that's interested knows that, okay, I can go to this particular bank and get a suite of services to support my renewable energy or my energy efficiency project.
For the Belize Bank, the opportunity to be able to offer financing geared at the development of a greener Belize is paramount.
Well, we are extremely excited about this facility. It's been going on, negotiations have been going on for over a year. We felt that we need to partner with someone like Kraft that has the experience, it has the know-how, and it has the credit enhancements required to assist us to finance small and medium enterprises in the areas of energy and energy efficiency. As you know, traditional banks do traditional lending, and sometimes we need the expertise of other entities to be able to get to finance more risky, what we consider more risky projects. Not more risky for them because they understand the industry. So sometimes we think that getting together governments, traditional banks, multilaterals, development agencies, when we get together, I think that the impact is much more impactful for the benefit of our clients.
And while as a country we have already begun our journey towards eco-friendliness, the question now is, are there those interested in obtaining financing to support a more sustainable Belize?
We do get energy-related proposals. We get proposals from our existing clients. We get proposals that are greenfield, and I think that that is mostly where we need most of the help. When something is greenfield, something needs to come from the grounds up. The technical assistance that Kraft gives you, they get involved very, very early. So when the projects come to us, they're already been vetted, they've already been prepared by Kraft, and we put tremendous reliance on the technical assistance and their recommendations.
So the signing is today. Do you guys have any clients already identified that will be accessing this facility?
Absolutely, absolutely. Our business banking unit and our small and medium enterprise agent officers have already brought up several projects that we are extremely excited. We are already discussing it with Kraft, and we look forward to getting them off the ground. And so Kraft already has an amount of projects that they're already looking at, so they can bring those projects to us for financing, and we will consider them. And with their guarantee, of course, it makes all the difference, much quicker to execution and disbursement. And also, as Belize's largest bank, we bank almost half of the country. We already have a portfolio of clients that we'll be discussing with them what Kraft brings to the table, and we can use the Kraft facility to look at their energy efficiency projects that they might have.
Loan amounts may vary and can start from as low as $50,000 up to $1 million. Small medium enterprises will be considered first. The Caribbean Development Bank's Basic Needs Trust Fund has initiated its 10th cycle training workshop. The 4-day event is being held in Belmopan City, and the media was invited to be a part of the initial ceremony. This workshop is being spearheaded by a CDB mission that is in Belize. It will be geared at building capacity on the Belize Sustainable Investment Fund project management team in a number of areas, including developing an effective stakeholder engagement plan, implementing the grievance redress mechanism, strengthening visibility and knowledge management of the BNTF, among others.
What we're doing for the Belize Social Investment Fund team that is responsible for implementing CDB's Basic Needs Trust Fund, and we're now in the 10th cycle. So as we move into implementation, this program is boasted as the community-driven, using the community-driven approach. So what we want to do over the next few weeks is to build the capacity of the team, or to strengthen the capacity of the team to see how they could do a few key things during the project implementation, not just around the physical infrastructure, but how they seek to engage communities in a meaningful way, and communities meaning different groups within the communities, the indigenous communities, the youth, the women, the unemployed, etc., in that meaningful way. So we'll provide that kind of support in terms of engaging the communities effectively. There's also issues as it relates to stakeholder engagement. How do they engage stakeholders to form that collaboration, synergy with different players in Belize and within those communities to jointly execute these interventions. And then thirdly, there is also a need to scale up our communication and visibility. So over the next 4 days, we'll look at a lot around the community engagement, stakeholder engagement, as well as those components around visibility of the program to ensure that we are reaching a wider audience so more people can know about what we're doing within these communities.
Carla Stone, Executive Director at the Belize Social Investment Fund, told us how the 4-day event will allow his team to carry out their objectives.
So presently we already started in terms of signing some of those contractors. We have two projects in the pipeline, but hopefully we're supposed to sign those contractors this month or next month. And we started already with Girls Point, and we are looking forward to implementing some other projects within Basic Needs Trust Fund. How we plan it, we have a staff, a capable staff that is always looking forward to learn as well. We have a project coordinator, we have our architects to ensure that infrastructure is well constructed, and at the same time we have that social component, which our technical officers are in charge of ensuring that the community gets what they want.
What are some of the topics that you are looking most forward to learning from the CDB?
Sure. I believe one of the important things is community involvement. How we are able to involve the communities. As you are aware, we are made up of diverse cultures, and each culture is different. So the way how you're going to deal with one culture is different how you're going to deal with the other culture. So it's important that we know how cultures interact, how to be able to ensure that the people participate. That's the most important thing. And I think this workshop will help us to be able to develop some skills in ensuring that we try our best to allow the people to participate and to provide some feedback in our projects.
The Caribbean Development Bank's Basic Needs Trust Fund is present in 9 countries in the Caribbean region. He is now the newest Member of Parliament and carries a portfolio of Minister of State and Minister of Foreign Trade. But Honorable Dr. Osmond Martinez is also the area representative for Toledo East, for which he has a vision for a better future, including better infrastructure. Today, Honorable Martinez was asked how he plans to balance the demands of being a Minister of State while continuing to serve the community of Toledo East.
Creation of jobs, is very important. When you look at Punta Gordas and the surrounding villages in Toledo East, unemployment is very high, and it has historically, when you look at the historical data from 1981, that's one of the biggest challenges, to create jobs and to even sustain jobs in Toledo East. So that's an important part. And the second one is to increase our human capital. And the only way we will be able to do it is through education. And when we talk about education, we need to be able to diversify our expertise, and at some point we might need to upskill and reskill the labor force so that there is to mitigate the mismatch on the supply and demand within the labor force that we presently have. No? So those are the things, two things that we want to accomplish, and those are the outcomes: to increase the human capital and to be able to increase the income per capita through sustainable jobs.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Please.
On July 26th, the world's eyes turned to Paris.
This plan, I can't left this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
I know I can't left this plan. I can't left this plan.
Honorable Dr. Osmond won the Toledo East by-elections after securing a sweeping 3-1 victory. But in order to run in the by-election, Martinez had to resign from his position as Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Economic Development. So why is it that, unlike his colleagues, namely Thea Garcia Ramirez and David Castillo, he could not keep his job and venture into the political arena? Martinez explains.
Depends on what the Constitution says. For example, the Constitution in terms of being a CEO is that I had to resign. I'm not sure what is the terms of reference and the Constitution and the job that they're holding at the present moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't know. I mean, you will have to do the research and see if the Constitution is asking for them to step down or to resign, because some posts would just be fine by you going on personal leave and not necessarily resign. You know, in my case, the Constitution was clear that I had to resign, and so I took that calculated risk that I would resign.
The Ministry of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, in accordance with its Blue Investment Strategic Objective, is vigorously exploring new blue industries that can contribute to growing Belize's blue economy in a manner that is sustainable and inclusive. This weekend, Kennedy Carrillo, CEO in the Ministry of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, accompanied by His Excellency Oscar Arnold, Belize's ambassador to Mexico, and Ms. Nancy Marin, Industries Innovations Consultant, traveled to Hermosillo, Sonora in Mexico to visit an oyster pearl farm. The concept of a pearls oyster farm as a potential new industry in Belize is the brainchild of Mrs. Marin, who developed the proposal, which the ministry welcomed. The field visit is an integral part of the feasibility study, which seeks to identify learning opportunities, partnerships, and technical guidance on exploring the possibilities of oyster farming for pearls in Belize. Minister of Blue Economy and Disaster Risk Management, Honorable Andrew Perez, invites all Belizeans to be innovative and creative in their ideas and concepts for the sustainable use of our blue space for the greater benefit of all. Following up on its planned Belize commitments, the government of Belize is implementing its national blue economy policy based on key principles of sustainable use of our blue space, innovation, and inclusion. The ministry has also embarked on a feasibility study exploring the possibilities of sea salt sequestration and production in Belize. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, August 14th here on Ctv3 News and Face FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belize news or our YouTube channel at ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.